During the Great Depression, American families had an incredible secret growing in their backyards. 25 remarkable vegetables that most people today have completely forgotten. These tough plants helped entire families survive the hardest economic disaster in modern American history. Let's uncover these forgotten vegetables that our grandparents relied on when times were toughest. The Jerusalem artichoke, nature's underground insurance policy. When the Depression hit America, one vegetable stood out as nature's perfect survival food: the Jerusalem artichoke. Despite its name, it's not from Jerusalem and not related to artichokes. This Native American plant was taught to European settlers by Native Americans who had grown them for centuries. What made Jerusalem artichokes so valuable during hard times? Unlike other vegetables that needed replanting every year, these were truly perennial, coming back stronger year after year with zero work. Once planted, they'd return on their own, creating a reliable food source that actually grew bigger each season. They had another amazing feature: you could harvest them all winter long, even from frozen ground. Families would simply dig up what they needed and leave the rest for later. Their natural sweetness came from inulin rather than starch, making them a welcome treat when other foods were scarce. These plants were also incredibly productive, with a single planting yielding up to 15 pounds of tubers per square yard. During the Depression, when every bit of food mattered, this remarkable yield made Jerusalem artichokes worth their weight in gold. Mangelwurzels, the giants that fed families and livestock. Imagine a beet that grew as big as a bowling ball. That's the Mangelwurzel. These giants could reach up to 20 pounds each, and during the Depression, they were worth their weight in gold. Although most people today have never heard of them, they were a common sight in 1930s gardens. Mangelwurzels earned their place in Depression gardens because of their dual-purpose nature. Families would eat them like regular beets, cooking them to bring out their natural sweetness. Any extras would feed livestock through the winter, helping to keep precious milk cows and chickens producing when feed was scarce. The sheer size of these massive roots made them incredibly efficient garden plants. A single row of Mangelwurzels could produce hundreds of pounds of food, making them among the highest-yielding vegetables of the Depression era. Families could store them for months in simple root cellars, providing food security when it was needed most. Their high sugar content made Mangelwurzels surprisingly palatable when properly prepared. Depression-era cookbooks featured recipes for Mangelwurzel pickles, Mangelwurzel apple pie, where the sweet root stood in for scarce apples, and even Mangelwurzel coffee substitute when real coffee was too expensive. If you're enjoying this journey through Depression-era gardening wisdom, consider supporting us on Patreon. Your membership helps us research and share more forgotten survival skills from our grandparents' generation. You'll also get exclusive content, including our heirloom seed guides and monthly Q&A sessions. The link is in the description below. Now let's continue discovering these remarkable forgotten vegetables. Parsnips, nature's winter sugar factory. After the first frost hit the garden, something magical happened to parsnips. They transformed from ordinary root vegetables into nature's candy. Unlike other vegetables that suffered in cold weather, parsnips actually improved, converting their starches into natural sugars that made them surprisingly sweet. During the Depression, this made parsnips incredibly valuable because actual sugar was often too expensive for many families to buy. A single row of parsnips could provide both food and sweetness all winter long. These vegetables were also packed with calories, much more than carrots or potatoes, making them perfect for hard-working families who needed energy-rich food. Depression-era gardeners discovered they could leave parsnips right in the ground through winter, using the earth as a natural storage cellar. Whenever they needed food, they simply dug up a few roots, even if the ground was partially frozen. The ones left in the ground would stay fresh until spring, providing reliable food when other vegetables were long gone. Some families would mark their parsnip rows with tall stakes so they could find them under the snow, ensuring access to fresh food even in the middle of winter. This simple technique turned the cold winter ground from an enemy into an ally, preserving food perfectly without any special equipment. The versatility of parsnips made them even more valuable. They could be roasted, mashed, added to soups, or even made into sweet parsnip cake when other dessert ingredients were unavailable. Their natural sweetness meant they could be used to add flavor to otherwise plain meals, bringing a bit of joy to the table during difficult times. Hamburg, rooted parsley, the two-in-one wonder. When times were tough during the Depression, families needed plants that could do more than one job, and Hamburg, rooted parsley, was exactly that kind of vegetable. Unlike the parsley we know today that just gives us leaves, this forgotten variety developed large, sturdy roots underground that looked similar to small parsnips. These roots weren't just for show. They stored perfectly through winter in simple root cellars, providing food when fresh vegetables were hard to find. Above ground, the leaves were exactly like regular parsley, packed with more vitamin C than oranges and adding fresh flavor to meals year-round. Depression-era families would harvest the leaves all summer long, using them fresh or drying them for winter use. Then when fall came, they'd dig up the thick white roots and store them alongside their other root vegetables. These roots had a rich, earthy flavor that added depth to soups and stews while still providing the same vitamins and minerals that made parsley so valuable. Smart gardeners would plant several rows, harvesting roots from some while letting others continue producing leaves throughout the growing season. This strategy maximized the food value from limited garden space, a critical consideration when gardens were survival tools rather than hobbies. Hamburg-rooted parsley required very little care, thriving in most soil conditions and showing good resistance to both drought and cold. This resilience made it perfect for Depression-era gardens when sea kale, the coastal survivor. Our final vegetable brings us to the coastlines where Depression-era families discovered the remarkable sea kale. This perennial vegetable had mastered the art of growing in salty, sandy soils where few other food plants could survive. Like a gift from the sea, it provided two distinct harvests: tender, blanched shoots in early spring that tasted like asparagus, and thick, blue-green leaves throughout the summer that could be cooked like cabbage. Once planted, sea kale would return year after year, growing stronger and more productive with each passing season. The plants developed deep roots that could find moisture even in sandy soil, making them virtually drought-proof. Depression-era families living near the coast would establish patches of sea kale that would feed generations, with some plants producing food for over 20 years. Its salt tolerance meant it could grow in areas where other vegetables failed, turning otherwise useless ground into productive garden space. This ability to thrive in poor conditions made it especially valuable during the Depression, when families needed to utilize every possible growing space to produce food. The early spring shoots were particularly prized, as they appeared weeks before most other vegetables were available. Families would cover the emerging shoots with pots or buckets to blanch them, resulting in tender, white stems that provided a welcome change from winter storage vegetables. Though sea kale largely disappeared from American gardens after the Depression, its remarkable resilience and perennial nature make it worth reconsidering today. For coastal gardeners facing sandy soil and salt spray, this forgotten vegetable offers solutions to problems that still challenge modern growers. These 25 vegetables aren't just plants from the past. They're survival tools that helped families through America's toughest times. What made them valuable wasn't fancy packaging or perfect appearance, but reliability when it mattered most. They were grown by families fighting to survive the worst economic disaster in our history. These forgotten vegetables offered unique benefits: incredible storage life, drought resistance, high nutrition, and the ability to grow with minimal care. Many still exist today, preserved by dedicated seed savers who understand their timeless value. The wisdom of our grandparents, expressed through their garden choices, offers lessons beyond gardening. Their resourcefulness created a remarkable legacy of American resilience. Families who faced incredible hardship but thrived through their connection to the soil. If you enjoyed this journey through Depression-era wisdom, please hit that like button and subscribe for more forgotten knowledge from the past. What vegetable from this list would you most like to try growing? Share your thoughts below. Until next time, when we'll uncover more survival lessons from our ancestors. Helps us continue researching and sharing these valuable skills that our ancestors relied on. What forgotten vegetable from this list would you most like to try growing? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Until next time, when we'll uncover more survival lessons from our ancestors that might just help us face our own uncertain future.